Hello everyone, welcome to the Cool Board. On today's Cool Board, we have a few exciting ergonomic keyboards that we're going to find out where they're going to place on the Cool Board. If you're new to the Cool Board, feel free to check out the stream every Thursday at usually either around 7 or 8:30 Pacific, where you can join chat live in arguing with me and each other on how cool a board is on the Cool Board. Now let's learn what we're talking about today on the Cool Board. So here we have the Cool Board, absolutely wonderful. For anyone new, the Cool Board goes, of course, from left to right, from that yikes to that wow. We already have quite a few things on the Cool Board today, but we're going to get a few more things coming up. So let's get to it. Our topics that we will be discussing today are the SP-111, the Moonlander, the Bear 65, the Expos, the Korn LP, the Unigo 660, the Kinesis Advantage 2, the VEA, the Mutron, the MD650L, the Dactyl, the LZ Physics, the Iris, and the Keyboardio Model 01. One Drunk Man, since you're the first person to speak in chat today, I'd like you to have the first selection of keyboard. So what keyboard are we going to talk about today? One Drunk Man. This is your cue to alt-tab back into the stream. One Drunk Man going once. One Drunk Man going twice. Okay. Fought Forever 400. Mutron. Okay, what a bold first choice. Let's talk about the Mutron keyboard and figure out how cool is the Mutron keyboard. So the Mutron keyboard, yeah, it's unfortunately no longer in production. It stopped production in 2017, but when it ran, it was 50,000 yen, which, let's do some math. 50,000 yen to USD. It was $450 US when it ran, which is pretty intense. I actually have this board. If you guys want to check it out, I have it. It has a very, very unique layout. Very unique layout. So it can tent, it can tilt. I think Zal Lee actually has a pretty good overview of it, which we're gonna check out Zal Lee's page actually. So there's the board. It came out in 2007. So here's a layout. Let's get nice and close to this. Okay, so it's Topra switches, but it's not compatible with other Topra keycaps, and that's not because of the stem design. It's actually the full size of the switch is about 90% the size of a standard Topra switch in keycap. So you can only use it with the keycaps it is. It's a very unique layout. As you can see, you have enter and tab. You got those keys under your thumbs. You got the nav cluster on the left side as an inverted T, while you have the standard inverted T arrow keys on the right side. It's very, very unique. Actually not very hard to use. It's actually kind of hard to use. The badge is actually metal. It's really cool. It feels pretty quality. We can see the layout here. So I think this is a really unique keyboard. And actually cool enough, when you're in the Tron mode, it's basically Dvorak, which is what I type in, which is haha, pretty cool. It's not that I use it because I have Dvorak set system-wide. But it's unique. It's a unique board. It is connected by a wire on both sides, obviously. And here's a good picture showing that the keycaps are just slightly smaller. It was a unique board ahead of its time, I think. There's never been another Ergo-like Topra board like the Mutron, and there probably won't ever be one ever again, to be honest. I am happy that this keyboard existed. I think it's a really cool layout. I think it's a really cool board. I think it's cool. But do you think it's cool? I would honestly put it as something that's pretty cool because of how unique it is. Gray, you think it's cool, but you never use it? Jeff, the lowest of cool. 10 would be interested at a meetup. I think it's a cool. It's very unique. It's very unique. It's definitely an eye catcher at a meetup, that's for sure. Gray, you believe it's mid cool? I think it's high cool, but maybe it's just because I have a bias because I also have this keyboard. It's a keyboard that I've definitely been offered quite a bit of money for, to be perfectly honest, because it's rare. It is legitimately a rare board because it was expensive when it ran. It wasn't super highly desired when it ran, but the people who wanted it really wanted it. And it was hard to find. They actually didn't ship them to America. You had to buy them in Japan and then have someone ship it to you. So if you saw a random coffee shop person one, you'd be like, oh, cool. I'm pretty sure if you saw someone at a random coffee shop with one, you'd mistake it for something else completely. Like, I think this is very situational. You wouldn't care to see it at a coffee shop. But like if you're at a meetup, this would be like, whoa, did you hear? So-and-so has a Mutron. Oh, have you checked it? Yes, check it out. I'm probably like, it's a board for a shelf or a discussion piece. Yeah, for me, it's more of a discussion piece. It's very hard for me to daily it, I'll be honest. Who would bring this to? You have no idea the kinds of keyboards you'd see at coffee shops. Go to like a coffee shop in the Bay Area or like New York City, and like during like the times where there's like a lot of tech people out and about, you know, pre-COVID days and post-COVID days, people bring their mechanical keyboards to coffee shops. That's a thing. Realistically, if you saw one at a coffee shop, you'd be like, why am I at a coffee shop? I mean, that's fair. That's fair. So you guys are thinking low cool or mid cool? I'm thinking at least mid cool. Like, I'm kind of okay with it here. In the same tier as the E8.5 Singa Timo 50. The mid tier. I think it's pretty high compared to all these low tier ones. Oh, I already have the LZ Physics on the board. I don't need to cover that again. Let me delete that. We already talked about that. Where are you, LZ Physics? Be gone. I should really like scan what I've already done on the board before. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. If people want to argue with me later in the future, they can. But I think this is gonna be a Huey decision. The Mutron is at least mid-cool. I mean, it even uses a Greek letter, so you know it's automatically cool when it uses a Greek letter. Okay, Gray, since you're over on the East Coast and it's getting late for you, I'd like you to select the next item. We still got quite a few items on the board to go with today. Automatically pretentious. Yeah, I mean, the Mutron is definitely kind of pretentious too. SP111, 100%. Okay, let's talk about the SP111 by Blind Assassin. So the SP111 ran on the Key Company, which I'm going to pull up right now. Bam. So there it is. It was available in black. Oh, teal. That used to say blue. And whites. It's a kit. Left, right sides, brass plates, matte black PCBs, C to C interconnect cable. So let's look at some pictures. Basically a sandwich construction. I mean, it is sandwich construction. You can see the plate through the sides. Has a numpad. Basically, it's a full size, but split with a southpaw numpad. And the nav cluster is a 2x3 instead of a 3x2. You can put it together and it'll keep consistent spacing, which a lot of people like, because a lot of boards that are split, if you actually put them together, the gap will be larger than, you know, the normal key distance. Okay, those are the pictures. So would you have bought one for this price of $4.99 or $5.29 for an E-White? How cool is the SP111? Great, hard bias. 10, you like this one, but you don't remember if development was clean. Hubcaps, that's a cool board. Jeff, bumpy-ish from what you remember, I think referring to the production. TKC stuff. Development was clean. The only thing was that blue color. Did the blue get turned into that green? When did it run? It ran some time ago. Do they have a date here? Why don't they have a date? It's like good. Well, if I look at the GitHub, it'll probably give me a date, right? 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when it ran. At least 2 years. I'm just going by the GitHub. 2 years ago when the GitHub files are up. So yeah, how cool. I think it's not bad, right? Other than like the color not working out for a lot of people. It's definitely a big boy kind of board, a big boy split board, which certainly isn't the norm, right? A lot of modern split boards try to focus on being really small, kind of compact things because they're split. Because inherently, being a split board it takes up a lot of space. Hugo was very unhappy about his board. Oh, let me go ping Hugo. Go on my stream and tell people why you weren't happy about SP111, or tell me now and I will tell them. I like the Southpad numpad personally. I have a Southpaw numpad. I have a Southpaw full size, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a nice productivity board. I don't know how cool it is though. And if Hugo had one, I actually want to hear his feedback. Oh, he's typing in Discord right now. Let's find out. I think he's on mobile, so I don't know how fast his fingers can go. Dewey, cool because TKC low, cool. Okay, he said if the SP111 was fine more or less, it was the Molly that was shit. Got it. He's okay. He said it was just okay. I don't know, saying something is just okay for that price doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement. You know what I'm saying? You think you don't know. You think it's nice and all, but you don't know if you could adapt to a left-hand side numpad efficiency-wise long term. Drunkman mid to high meh. Hugo says layout is great, but it's tired and boring sandwich layout. A poor sound, needed foam unironically. Keck W. Okay, that's not a very good endorsement, to be perfectly honest. Mid to high meh, low cool. I think, is there gonna be meh or cool? Not a fan of the mounting style, but form factor and layout is what did it. Design is cool. TKC not so. That's fair assessment that a lot of people have. High meh. Just meh. I like how the scale is sliding slower and lower now. The more it settles in with people. One of my favorite linears? Oh, well, I can talk about that after the cool board. But I've got a few favorite linears, mostly all modded. As for the SP111 though, let's... You will not input as you will just say hi cool. I feel like that in itself is an input, which is acceptable. It just seems I don't think it's high cool. I'm sorry, Gray. I don't think your SP111 is a high cool board. Maybe your specific SP111 is a high cool board, but the concept of the SP111 in general, the concept is cooler than the execution. What do you guys think about that statement? I think that's true about the SP111. I think the concept is cooler than the execution. I think it's pretty reasonable to say that, and I think that drops it down. I think that's a fair reason to say it's cool, but it's not that cool. It's just I give it I give it a really high meh. I like really high meh. I don't know if I'd give it a really, really low cool. Like, if you told me, Huey, pick between the Southpaw full size and the SP111, I'm going to go Southpaw full size every day in the week and twice on Friday. Know what I'm saying? Dewey, Southpaw. Okay, everyone in chat, let me know. Would you rather pick the Southpaw full sized or the SP111 as a keyboard? Which would you actually choose? Good to see you, Neb. Southpaw. So just okay. We got Neb and hubcaps and Gray at SP111. I and I as well. Interesting. Really, you guys would rather choose the SP111 for the novelty? That's reasonable. Remember, this is the cool board. This isn't like an objective. This board has more points than this board. Swoosh, right? This is about the coolness. So, do you guys think the SP101 is cooler than the Southpaw? What does Dictator Huey think? Honestly, Dictator Huey, I can go either way between really, really low cool and really, really high meh. You think it's cool that has dual purpose? Wait, what do you mean by dual purpose? It's a keyboard. Its purpose is to type. What was I built for? You were built to type on. Be typed on. The connectors were C2C. How much was it? $500. $530 for the E-White. It could be split or not. Yeah, but if you're not splitting this board, why are you getting it? Because you're basically just getting a board that has an extra little cable loop connecting both sides. Right? Like, if you don't split this board, don't get it. That's my thinking. Why would you spend so much for a split board that you're not going to split? It's kind of like a standing desk. Yeah. Is this gonna go down? Is this gonna hang off the board somehow? You've not tried a staggered split. The idea seems meh. Because honestly, I can go either way with putting it down here or putting it up here. I don't know if there's like a really good argument to see it either way. I think when in doubt, meh. It's 7 different ways to have 111 keys. There's plenty of room in yikes. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there, bud. Penny, don't believe it belongs in meh. Interesting. Hi, meh. Yeah, I have to go. That is Coco. I'm going high, man. I'm putting my foot down and making a decision before this episode gets too long. Okay. The next item is something I'm going to choose because I've done a review on it. Let's talk about the Ergos keyboard. The Ergos. 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 Alright, here it is. $130 or $250 for the fancy one. Angled columns for wrist comfort. Engages thumbs. Aligns with your fingers. Easy to learn. Used by more than 7,500 users, including professionals at Google, Unity, Facebook, Amazon, Red Hat, and what does that say? Sutter Health. That's a really weird last one, to be perfectly honest. That does not belong with the rest of them, as far as I know. It comes with blue. It comes with these switches. Made of tough aluminum. Spill and dust proof. Doubt. Full 1-year warranty. Yeah, so this is the board. I've reviewed it. No, go away, pop-up. I don't want to win a $50 gift card. Personally, I think it's yikes. Now it's Coco going off. Coco, are you going off? We're in the yikes, though. This mid yikes. Coco hates this board. Yeah, she would. It's better than a minivan? Well, that's why I put it above the minivan. Yeah, I think everyone's okay with it being here, right? No one's gonna complain with the Ergos going to the mid yikes, mid yikes, Ergos, yikes. Yeah, we on the same page. Oh, what up, Gente? Thanks for the huge raid. Wow. We just put the Ergos keyboard on the yikes. Hello everyone who's raiding. You may be new. I do this show that's going on right now called The Cool Board, where I talk and argue about how cool a keyboard is with the audience, with your inputs, and we talk about how cool things are. Gente, I know you probably ended your stream, so you're probably going to go soon, but I do want you to choose our next keyboard, okay? Before you go, bud, before you go, which one of these should we talk about next that you see on screen here? Let me just move things closer together. So I'm put you on the spot. If you rated me, I gotta do like this. Which one is chat and I gonna duke it out between? Not yet. Soon. Unigo? Okay, let's talk about the Unigo 660. How cool is the Unigo 660 keyboard? Because that's a question a lot of people have. What does everyone in chat think? Is the Unigo 660? Sorry, it's the Uni 660 technically, right? Is it a cool board? Is it cool? I'm gonna pull up the I don't know how I put Unigo. I'm gonna pull up the interest check. There it is. It's split 660 layouts. Has no way to actually physically connect. You must use the adapter, which is from a salvaged Logitech K320 with a 2032 button cell battery. So like if your adapter dies, there's no way to actually use this board. It effectively becomes borked at that point. That's like the major downside. But it is completely wireless through Logitech system, which a lot of people like a lot for a lot of people with Logitech boards that are wireless. This board was available in polycarb. Is it a cool board? Becomes dorked. I mean, if you have no receiver, then there's nothing for it to transmit to, right? It is button cell battery powered. I have the Unigo 6, the smaller version, and I have my complaints about it. I know this one was much more popular, this bigger one. I don't think it's that cool, to be honest. I don't care for the design. I'll be perfectly honest, I don't think it's that cool. But I want to know what you all think in chat. Nebula, you think is neat for a wireless aspect, just meh implementation. That's how I felt about the Unigo 666. Do we high meh at most? I think it's. I don't even know if it's high meh. I'd give it like a normal meh. Who even cares about this keyboard in 2021? The more you look at it, the more you dislike it. Yeah, that's. You actually hate the wire connecting two halves of the cord, so the wireless is cool. That's probably like the only cool-ish part about it. But it works by so the receiver. If you take the receiver apart, it's actually two of the Logitech USB receivers into one unit that goes into a single USB, and each of the keyboard halves has its own transmitter as well. Is how that works. So you're actually technically plugging in two keyboards when you plug it in. That's how it works. Fun fact. Because that's what they did for the old one. That's mad. It's so mad. This is such a mad keyboard. Like, how could you think this is a cool? I don't think it is a cool keyboard. I'm sorry, Sirius who designed it, but no, just no. I like, for me it's pretty like mid or low meh even. I don't know. So biased. Welcome to the cool board. Hello, please. Perfect comfort. Thanks, Jen. Have a good one. Take care. Take care. Hope you do well. Let's catch up sometime. Peace. Thank you for the raid. Okay. Yeah. Anyone think it should be higher than where I put it on the cool board? Low meh. It'd be cool if you made it in your basement. I mean, if someone did this hacky DIY with the Logitech and build their own keyboard, that would be cooler than it as an end product. In my opinion, that's what I think. I think mid meh is where it belongs. If I'm perfectly honest, like, I mean, low meh is where it belongs. I just don't like the idea that, you know, unless you know the pinouts very well and you can work with that, somehow fix that wireless thing if it goes wrong. Once it goes wrong, it's done basically. Unless you want to salvage, you know, another Logitech board, that same board with its own receiver and transmitter, desolder the transmitter, resolder onto this board with, you know, SMD soldering, which not everyone can do. I don't like, you know, that fact of this board. Yeah, we can definitely go over the yikes category after we get through today's main topics, for sure. But they're yikes because they're yikes. Yeah, I'm putting Unigo 660 in the low meh. I think that's appropriate. Because no one seems to be arguing with me, so. Okay, next board to go over. Let's talk about talk about the Iris. Is the Iris a cool board? If you saw the Iris at a meetup, would you be like, that's a cool kid? Or would you be like, no, that's the keyboard that gets stuffed in the lockers when the coach isn't looking? How cool is the Iris is gonna be? It's gonna be the big question. Okay, so here's the Iris. right? You could, okay, there's a price add. Okay, so we got different add-ons we can get for it. Of course, we'll need a PCB for $60. Obviously, if you're smart, you get an FR plate. Let's say you want to go matching, so you get frosted, you get them tinted, right? If you're a knob, you get a rotary encoder, and the price adds up. But you're also looking at like $100 for switches and whatnot. All right, we got some pictures. Oh, is the Iris keyboard, PCBs for split ergonomic keyboard, and the whole package, is it a cool board? I don't think so. You can get one pre-built for 200. Oh my god! Don't. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's kind of expensive for a pre-built. Wait, it's pre-built and there's no midsection? No. Okay, you have to get another $28 for a clear middle layer. Oh my god. But so it's $190 if you want it pre-built. God. Yikes. That idea's, yeah. Oh, okay. Whatever. Okay, Iris. Is it cool? Would you see this keyboard at a mid and be like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That's interesting. Or to be like, why do you ring an Iris button? I'm not sure. Not sure about that. You don't, or do you have to install a microcontroller? Not anymore. The Rev 4, it comes with the microcontroller soldered on for you. That'd be a good song for this loop. All-in-one, yikes. The implementation, low meh. The all-in-one is, honestly, in my opinion, yikes. Like, there are other OEM or pre-built splits I would rather get than a pre-assembled Iris. Iris, I think, is only worth it if you're going to do it yourself. I do like how the thumb cluster is actually close by. It actually makes it usable, unlike something like an Ergo, for example. It is columnar stagger, so it's just columns with a slight, stagger where you can, yeah. But it uses all one use. Some people like that. Some people don't like that. For Keycap compatibility. But the question is it cool? So what does chat think? I don't really care either way. I'm leaning toward meh. If I want to be mean, yikes. But otherwise, meh. I don't think it's cool. Low meh says I 10, it's a rock, kinda. Low meh. I think low meh is kind of the way to go. Why bother having Ergos and cool? I mean, we had an Ergo that already made it in cool, bud. We have some cool Ergos from time to time. Low meh. I would put it above the Unigo though. That's because it's like a very workable board. I mean, the coolest item on the cool board is an Alice sake. So I mean, it's not like it's impossible. Low meh. Low meh is, I think low meh is gonna be the way to go for the Iris. None of these make you feel anything except yuck. Have I done the 45 ATS? I have not, but I'll keep that under advisement for a potential future episode. $10 your yikes if you think Gatoron is yikes. Okay, let's pick up the next board. What do you guys want to cover next? What would you all like to cover next? Here are options. We have options. Do I own? I do own a Bear 65. It's on my shelf right there. Let me just clean this up by putting this here, putting this here. VEA, Popcorn, Bear 65, Dactyl, Moonlander. Okay, we've got some varied ones so far. Let's do. You know what? I'm going to go with Ionized Selection. Let's go with the VEA. Is the VEA cool? Do you guys think the VEA is cool? I think the VEA has some coolness to it, but definitely has issues that hold it back, to say the least. So it originally ran on Mass Drop. Has very nice RGBs, if I might say so myself. I actually like the fact that they went through and actually got acrylic screws or polycarbonate, just plastic screws that are frosted to help with the effect. Okay, I actually like that. The aluminum quality was decent. The connector between both halves is the most yikes parts. Of course, this is the past. This is before USB-C, so of course it's mini, right? But those connectors are SATA. They are SATA connectors. Dead serious. Let's see if their website's actually still up, even Oddforge. Nope, Oddforge is down now. At least the one they have here. It was Alps compatible too, which actually I thought was really cool. No Nebula, it's not 20 times, it's 50 times. I will say this ran on Mass Drop before they had the reputation they do today, and they are actually quite reputable when it ran. Like, they weren't like a bad company when this was happening. Tending is cool, Alps is cool, decent layout, connector kills it, but SATA connector is better than TRS. It doesn't short the pins. There's a thing about manufacturer trying to sell them on Taobao. Only the acrylic ones really made it. Actually, I have an acrylic version of this, acrylic clone of this, basically. I think the connector definitely kills it. I think they wanted to cash in on the popular PC builder trend where you get your custom power cables and your custom SATA cables. I think they wanted to cash in on that trend, despite the fact there was already a trend in the community at the time for custom USB cables. So why not go with USB when enthusiasts for the keyboard community were already doing their custom USB cables? Like, there's never been a shortage of cable vendors. Maybe today there is, because it's not as cool anymore. But back then, I mean, everyone and their mother was making cables. And at least in one case, it was literally someone and their mother. It's so cool until you realize, yeah, it's SATA. It's SATA. It's SATA. And it's shipped with like a red SATA cable. I remember, I had one. I sold it for money. Sold it at a meetup, actually. It's high meh. High tier meh, but low on the high tier. Like, I'd love to have one again as like a showpiece. Some people, including myself, reported issues with the SATA connector of the response rate of both halves, where both halves would have one half would have a slightly bigger delay than the other half. So if you type really quickly, it would read one half slightly slower, the right half slightly slower than the left half. So for example, if you typed out really quickly the word the in QWERTY, THE, right? T is on the left side, H is on the right side, E is on the left side, right? If you type that really quickly, you'd get TEH, te. So I think high meh is a good place for it, to be perfectly honest. I don't know about I don't think it's aged well. It has not aged well. It's not aged well. But it's still like, if I saw one in a meetup, I'd still say, oh, that's nifty. That's nifty. I'd say that as a at a meetup. But I think high meh is appropriate. Are there a lot of splits with the same issue? There are. But most of the splits I've used, at least Ergo boards I've used, I've not really noticed it like I have with the VEA, to be honest. And really, that issue is only when you're typing faster than... I actually did my own test. Like 110 words per minute is only when it comes to an issue, which most people don't anyways. I mean, I do at times. So, I still give it a high meh. Because remember, this is the cool board. This isn't like the objectively good or bad board. Even though that's could be part of it for some people and how you rate it as cool. I think it's still at least cool enough to be high meh. I still think it looks nice. I still think if you're still, you know, even a decently fast hybrid but not super fast, it's still very usable. If you never unplug that SATA cable, you don't have to ever worry about that SATA cable's, you know, 50 plug rating. Yeah, I think it's everything else still makes it kind of cool. I'd love to build one with Alps, if I'm perfectly honest. Nifty is supposed to be a positive word. You make it seem meh. I mean, there are aspects of it that are very nifty, but ultimately, it's not the greatest. Great to see you again, bud. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are doing okay for you. Yeah, really. Any arguments with where it's at for VEA? I think it's fine there. I think it's totally appropriate. Yeah, looks like chat's okay at that location. 10, you should be a bit lower. A lot lower. I don't know about that. Cool board equals mostly underwhelming board. I mean, look, most things that we've covered are on the underwhelming side, to be fair. Oh, what up, Brian? Totes of propes. I mean, Brian, I'm sure you agree. It has not aged well. If we covered the VEA, like, the year it ran, if Cool Board existed, we'd be like, oh my god, that's so cool. Could you imagine? But it's not insert year when we were younger, is it? It's modern day. Well, Brian, since you're here, how about you choose the next one, bud? What should we cover next? Blessing us with your presence. Back in our day, right? When we were young. Yeah, you got here to keep you on your toes, put you on the spot like that. Advantage 2. Okay. This board's been out for quite a while. The Kinesis Advantage 2. How cool is the Kinesis Advantage 2? So the Kinesis Advantage 2 is, of course, by Kinesis, as you all may know. It's for like $350, which is a lot. Never buy this at full price. You can always find them on eBay for $200 or less, usually less than $200, even if they're used and kind of beat up. You actually see quite a few older ones that work perfectly fine. These are, in my opinion, true workhorses. Like, if the Advantage 2 is a layout that works for you, it is one hell of a workhorse of a keyboard. I've used one. I actually liked it quite a bit. I regret selling mine. I'm probably going to pick up another one within the year, if I'm perfectly honest. I think it's actually a pretty unique design. That homing row is actually DSA scooped, while everything else is OEM. They're online on eBay. You can actually find a daughter board attachment thing that allows you to program it with QMK if you want to, you know, put it into the future for modernization, which is pretty cool. You can also connect a foot pedal to it if you're about that. It does come with Cherry MX Browns. I know people like to meme about Cherry MX Browns, but I think it's a fine board. I honestly like the Advantage 2, but just because I like it, I do understand its place. it looks dated. A lot of people would say, that is not a cool looking board, Huey. That's like what my grandfather would use after his arthritis and RSI gets the best of him. But I still like this board. I like it a lot, but I do understand it's probably not I understand it's probably not cool. But I like it. It's great. It's actually comfortable to type on. Those finger wells are amazing to type in. Not cool, like potentially cool. You appreciate the history of it. I think it's high met at most. Neb, you love to see the meetup. 10 is basically the first board, but updated. How does it compare with the Dactyl? We'll get that over soon. Substance over... Yeah, it is truly a substance over style board. Maybe we should bring down the Dactyl as a 2-in-1, because the Dactyl, if you may have noticed, is almost directly influenced basically by the Kinesis Advantage 2. Without the Kinesis Advantage 2, you would not get the Dactyl. And if you ask me to choose if I'd rather have a Kinesis Advantage 2 or a Dactyl, I would choose the Kinesis Advantage 2 every day of the week and 3 times on Sunday morning. These are very similar. Yeah, they are very similar because the Dactyl is inspired by Kinesis Advantage 2. Hence the deep finger well. The only thing is, like, I don't like the Dactyl 2 because where the hell do I put my wrist? Where do I like Kinesis Advantage 2 has that body for you to, like, actually use it without, like, Dactyl. You have to hover. You have to hover hand the whole time, right? Like you don't approach people and hover hand them all the time, right? No. You grab onto them and you're like, let's pose for this picture consensually. That's what you do. You don't hover hand. No, real people you don't hover hand. Okay, that's not. And the Dactyl is just the hover hand version of the Kinesis Advantage 2. And no matter where we put these, that's why I think the Dactyl is always going to be not as cool as the Kinesis Advantage 2. Hover hand is more Ergo. The downside of this split is having to buy the accessory rests. For me, honestly, I would always choose the Kinesis Advantage 2 over the 10. You try the Kinesis Advantage, not comfortable for you. Your hands are small and stretching too much when you reach the numbro. Interesting. For me, the only places I had to stretch was the farther thumb buttons where they're very inside. Those are a bit tougher for me, but those aren't keys I press very often, so that never bothered me because I always had those. Those are always basically navigation keys, home and page up, page down, right? So that was never an issue for me because navigation keys normally on like a TKL you take your hand off anyways to reach over and hit them. I'm also someone who uses navigation keys. I know they're not very chic and popular in 2021. But I like to keep the tradition alive of using navigation keys to navigate through pages. I like going up a page up and a page down at a time. I think it's more efficient than holding an arrow key down or up. So let's do a twofer. Let's do a twofer, okay? Kinesis Advantage 2. It's cool. The question is, where on the cool? Okay, let's start bumping. Let's start bumping stuff and making room on the cool board, okay? Let's move all these up here, and let's just start doing some of this so we can make room on that last row. There we go. So, Kinesis Advantage. Cool, but how cool? Mid-cool. Interesting. Tim, using the bowl is too deep if you rest your palm on the rest. Interesting. I think if the bowl is appropriate. I never had an issue personally with the numbers, but I can definitely understand why it's very it can be very situational for the person. And ultimately, I think for a board like either the Kinesis Advantage 2 or the Dactyl, it's impossible, right, to make a one size fits all. Because, one size that fits one person might be too cramped for another person, which might be, too far for another's. But in terms of the general concept, I think it's still a cool board. I want to get, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to get another one at some point. I might even try to score one of the older, quote-unquote, vintage white ones for that retro look, right? I'm thinking of doing that and getting some, like, you know, some PBT, like, just, like, EPBT, like, beige on it, right? With that white case and being like, oh, it's my vintage retro Kinesis Advantage. Yeah. Oh, and it has an option to do Dvorak straight from the board, so you can actually, yeah. So just saying, I'm putting it. It's mid cool. It has to be mid cool. I'm gonna put it under the Germany, and the Dactyl is looking me. Is the Dactyl low cool though? But Kinesis Advantage 2, I think it's mid cool, mid low cool, right? Low on the mid tier of cool. I think is very appropriate for poggers, as the kids say. Oh yeah, big poggers energy. Like the Kinesis Advantage 2 is so cool. Look, it has each of these bowls could be its own hot tub stream on Twitch. That's how cool the Kinesis Advantage 2 is. They're the same, different flavor. Yeah, it's like saying... No, they're not. I mean, different flavor if one of the flavors is like, in my opinion, objectively worse than the other. I understand why people would like the Dactyl. I don't. But personally, most of the Dactyls I've tried have all been 3D printed. I'm not sure if there are any non-3D printed Dactyls nowadays. Let's pull up. Let me pull up the Dactyl page. Let's get up to date with the Dactyl. And you know the Dactyl's like, where's my Dactyl page? Did I just? Oh, there it is. So you know the Dactyl page is like pretty DIY. When the page I'm gonna pull up for is literally just a GitHub. This is by Matt Adredeth. He's a pretty cool guy from what I remember. Dactyl Keyboard. You can set up the design. There's the STL. Use flexible PCBs to obviously make your life easier unless you want to hand wire. But all the things are there if you want to make your own, which is absolutely great. You know, big props for this availability for the Dactyl. Big props. The Dactyl isn't cool to me because of the Dactyl manuform. Dactyl is cool for the fact that people who make them have to go to the pain to get hand wired. You don't have to get it hand wired, I don't think. I think there's a flexible PCB version. Dactyl maniform is just next level. Most true Ergo boards you've looked at are completely DIY. Angry Meow's 1.6K split keyboard is like a Dactyl that is uber cool, but price tag is yikes. Open source, you'll love to see it. Usually, yeah. There are times open source let me down, but otherwise, that's a kind of an A+ decision. I'm okay with Dactyl being low cool, to be honest. I have no hate for the Dactyl. I just don't think it's as cool as a Kinesis Advantage. But I've no qualms with putting it somewhere in the cool, probably low cool, like where it is. If I'm perfectly honest, I think in the future, in future episodes, people are gonna definitely shit on me for putting the Kinesis Advantage 2 where I put it today. But I'm just gonna stand up and fight them when that happens, because that's where it belongs. I think the Kinesis Advantage 2. Nebula, you think the Dactyl is a homebrew gone wild? Interesting. They don't understand. They wouldn't. They're all about their boba switches and their actual boba. And what are kids about these days? People still memeing on MX Browns? I think so. Yeah. I think both of them where they are fine. Does anyone actually? Here's the question: does anyone think the Dactyl shouldn't be in cool? It's probably the last note for this board. I think that's what it comes down to. Hey, very nice. I still need to build my Heine TKL, but I actually have all my switches lubed and all my stabilizers lubed. I just need to like get to the point of building it. Yeah, okay. Dactyl's gonna be in low cool then. I guess you guys are okay with this. Breaking down switches. Hey, nice. Okay. Okay. We got 5 boards left, everyone. Nebulant. Mr. Nebulant. Choose. Moonlander. Let's talk about the Moonlander. Is the Moonlander a cool board? It's certainly interesting with those hinges for the thumb piece. You know what I'm saying? So the Moonlander is by ZSA, the same people who brought us the Ergodox Easy. It's quite interesting. Introducing the Moonlander Mark I, the next generation ergonomic keyboard. Let's just watch this video. If I swear to God, if they strike me for any reason, I'm gonna rage. What a cool little what a cool little thingy they did. Okay, let's just do this. Let's just speed run this. Oops, dang it! Oh my God, that closed. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. 1080p. Speed run strats right here, everyone. 2. Speedrun strats, here we go. We're only going to spend 30 seconds on this. Shoulder width. Columnar. Mechanical hot swappable. Articulated hand cluster for small or large hands. Integrated wrist rest. Fully programmable. Ooh, you turn your E to an F because you don't know how to type. The ultimate keyboard for work or play. Has a little folio to put it in. Okay, there we go. There we go. It's ergonomic, dynamic, gamer-friendly, mechanical, portable, built to last. 2 halves. Hey, at least 2-year warranty. Props for that, right? Just left side if you want to be a true gamer. It's got some switch options. Hot swappable. Good. Fully backlit, fine. It's slim. That's actually surprisingly slim. I think this is actually like for like a product by like an OEM, basically. That's kind of cool. Not gonna lie. Let's. Where's this pricing? Small hands, average hands, large hands. Okay. It blinks and beeps. Okay, has beeping options. Ooh, that black color is clean. Cortex M4. That means nothing to me. Type C. Okay. Open source. People like open source. 36 layers. Wow. It's a firmware's open source, so that means you can QMK it, I'm sure. I'm sure someone has. Okay, let's see the price. There's a buy now button. Wait. Oh, here we go. $365 shipping included. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oven mitts, maybe. The tenting. How are you going to hit the lowest thumb while typing? Comes with a case. It's pretty interesting. Someone make it with a joystick. Kind of cool. Tenting a wrist is a plus. Seems not all ergonomics to raise the thumbs. It's adjustable. Can't go over. It looks like oven mitts upside down. Hard pass, and do they charge extra for MX Blues? Price is a tad high. I understand where they're coming from with that price. The design is neat. Man, it's one of those things where like I'm sure Brian for sure knows where I'm coming from, but like if you're like an enthusiast, it's really easy to just shit on something if it's like, oh, that's by a big company. That's not by some kind of independent designer doing only 50 units. But the fact that this with all of its features coming from a company like ZSA is actually kind of surprising. in my opinion, in a good way. Like this is a pleasant surprise. To be perfectly honest, right? Doesn't the Ergodox plus accessories? Doesn't the Ergodox do this? No, the Ergodox does not already do this. OEM does not automatically mean bad. I think it'd be. Is there? Hold on, let me go back to the website real quick. Is there an option to do no switches? If there is, and they'd bring the price down, that'd actually be really great. I don't think there is. Yeah, you have to get it with switches. Dang. I'd love to save like $40 by not getting switches, if I'm perfectly honest. Agent, you actually know a few people who have one and they love it. You think it's cool, you'd never own one. I kind of want to own one. I'm not gonna lie. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I think that triangular button right there, and the red one on the picture we see right here, is kind of funky. But there's nothing about the board I inherently hate. For the main typing clusters, uses all 1Us, which is fine. I think the Moonlander is like anyone who uses the Ergodox today and wants like an Ergodox but better should just consider getting the Moonlander, is what I think. Because it comes with the tilting and tenting accessories, with the integrated wrist rests. The fact that the thumb clusters are adjustable is great. People like me, like, I would put it so it'd be slightly closer and easier for me. Like, I actually could imagine people. Imagine if you put these thumb clusters at 90 degrees up, so instead of hitting your thumb down, you just scoot your thumb outwards to hit those keys. I actually could think some crazy people would do that. It's too much of a gap. I think the gap's the gap is going to be in the curve of your hand where your thumb goes down, if you have it tilted in a certain way. So I don't think that's too bad. I really want to get one of these now. Damn. My initial thought is this is actually pretty cool. A little bit on the pricey side, sure, but I still think it's kind of cool. No, is it even really on the pricey side when I think about it? If this was made by Yutzi, by Rama, by Heine, no way they could get it down to $360. No way. Right? Like, I think that's something we'd accept, right? If it was done by any of the people who we love boards by, no way they could even get it down to the price that the Moonlander has it at, to be perfectly honest. So I think actually the price seems high, but it's not actually that high, given everything. So I see a lot more positives than negatives. I think it's cool. I think it's straight up cool. Let's put it above the dactyl. So this is definitely something I want to revisit if I get one, to see if it actually belongs here on the cool board. But I want to put it here on the cool board. How much is an Ergodox? So actually, that's a great thing you mentioned, Sake, because an Ergodox can be pretty cheap because most everything on the Ergodox is already open source, including the STL for the parts. So it could be really cheap. ZSA also sells an Ergodox themselves, the Ergodox Easy, which they sell at $354, so basically the same price. But they also include wrist rests and the tent tilt kit with theirs. You just can't adjust the thumbs. And the keys are slightly different because the Ergodox has non-1U keys. Yeah, I'm okay with it being above the dactyl for now, and maybe in the future if I get one, I review it, I would find out it's actually not as good. Because honestly, like, if I do 1-to-1 between a Moonlander and an Ergodox, I don't see a reason I would get the Ergodox. Even the old school ones that had the screen option, yeah, I mean, everything other than the thumb clusters is 1U, is what I meant. Because the other thumb keys aren't 1U either. They're like 1.5-ish. So yeah, you could probably switch the triangle cap to probably 1.5U, actually, not even a 1U, 1.5. Probably be comfortable for that. So No, I want to give him a chance. I want to give ZSA a chance. Like, why would I don't know why you wouldn't give it a chance if you like Ergo boards. Alright. Let's talk about it. The Corn. Corn LP. Sake, you said this is your hill to die on. Corn. Why is this a cool board? Sorry, it's not Corn. Sake. Why is the Corn LP a cool board? You said this is your hill to die on. So I want to hear why it's your hill to die on. You say it's cool. I want to try to understand you. Okay, I want to understand where you're coming from. It just looks cool. I want to understand where you're coming from here. Okay, I don't want to just dismiss it for the sake of dismissing it. I want to see where you're coming from. Specifically the LP. So, Corn LP, I have the board source one open. Kit can go up to freaking, okay, case. Let's just configure one, okay? Aluminum case, PCB. We don't need that. Let's put some switches in. No, okay, plate. Do we need a plate? I guess so. Alright, what am I doing? Oh, there we go. Not one. Diodes. I have to put the diodes myself. Chalk hot swap sockets. Why do I need an extra hot swap socket? I don't need those. Blue. So I need to do the Pro Micros myself. So we're at 150 for the kit. No switches. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. How does it connect to each other? Micro? USB? I'm guessing because they're Pro Micros. Yeah, Pro Micro. Well, that's Elite C there. How does it connect? Let's see. Saka, you should know. Is the DN Ergo on my list? No. Not for today. Kinesis 1 is better than Kinesis 2? Kinda. Is TRS? I'm blind. It is TRS. Thanks, Nebulant. 10 peaches, you have a Corn Cherry. It's very usable, to be honest. The TRS is shit, but whatever. But specifically, I'm talking about the LP, as the card I have is for the Corn LP. So I'm talking specifically about the Corn with the chalk switches. They are very slim. They are very slim boards, and a lot of people like that actually. I know my brother actually likes low profile stuff like this, both for like switch use and for keyboard stuff. So, how cool is the Corn LP, everyone? Iwanite, it's mid-meh. Yeah. If you want to travel around, I don't think I'd bring a split board, if I'm perfectly honest. Because that's carrying two things instead of carrying one thing. You know? You think it looks cool? It does certainly look unique. I wish for this picture, for the bottom row keys, or I mean the those bottom thumb, there's three keys. If they use blanks, I wish I had another row on top for numbers. Actually, I wish I had that. Am I crazy for that? I wish I had that. Another row on top. Maybe that just ruined the aesthetic too much. Sake, is it the Corn or the Corn LP that you have? Because maybe you're confusing the coolness of the Corn for the Corn LP. More usable? No, it's a sin to 40s and Ergos. So Nebulin, is it your contention that the Corn LP is a bad Ergo and a bad 40? Or you mean adding another row would be a sin to both? Oh, there's some cool Corn derivatives, but the LP isn't it. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Yes. Okay. Gotcha, Neb. I don't like the TRRS and like the micro. Like I don't like this area of the TRRS is being exposed like that. I wish there's some kind of cover for all that for both sides. To be honest, like I'm not digging that. I understand they're doing that to keep it thin and slim, but nah, dog, nah, dog, nah. Yeah. To be honest, the corner could use 1 or 2 more keys. I mean, it's a split 40 basically, right? Actually, the Curio was another one I was considering putting on today, but the corn LP was maybe a little more unique. For discussion. My ears are so sweaty, it's disgusting. Sorry. Yeah, I'm low mid meh. Mid low meh. It's more comfortable than a Plonk. Probably. But I don't know about that. Alright, we're leaving in low mid meh. A lot of people have been asking what the Bear 65. How cool is the Bear 65? It's like an Alice, but with arrow keys and an artisan key. You know it's an artisan key. You know it's an artisan key. I know it's an artisan key. You know it's an artisan key. Jackie, the designer, knows it's an artisan key. We all know it's an artisan key. Let's take a look at the Bear 65% Ergo. There it is. You can get it in aluminum or polycarb. It has glowy bits. It has aluminum bits. It has brassy bits. Price. Non-FE started at $380 default brass weights. Which is, I think, a pretty fair price. So, unlimited quantity group buy, which was nice. So what do you guys think? How cool is the Bear 65? Tell me you don't need arrows on an owl layout, so it's meh. Weight is cute, logo is cute. Mine hasn't shipped, so you can't stick one with that. Mine is shipped. I have mine. I haven't built mine though. It's a bear. It's in the name, my dude. I don't hate it. I do have one, and even having one, I think that design is kind of unbalanced with those arrow keys. Like, yeah, I agree with I agree with 10 pages. You don't really need arrows on Owl's layouts, but it's not horrible. The logo looks like it fits better right under the corner key. You know what? Yeah, it would look better there. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind it if they widened the middle gap and put the logo in the middle. I think that would have been actually the way to go. It looks like a lot of other boards. It does, because people love 60s and people love 65s, and when people made a Alice, which was basically an Ergo 60, people were like, let's do an Ergo 65, which is just an Alice with arrows. Because let's be honest, people are just, arrow holes because they like arrows so much. Is this different from the Arisu? Yeah, it has the corner key. It has the artisan key. People love the artisan key. Yeah, it looks fine. It feels fine. It's not a horrible board. It's not amazing, but it's acceptable. I think for aluminum, $380 for this board, but it is fine. It's completely fine. Shipping was, I think, like 50 or 65 bucks, something like that. So all in all, unless you got extras, it came at like $430-ish. Okay, Arisu has the macros on the right side instead of left. Thank you, Gok. That's a good point. Yeah, I think it's better if you're gonna have arrows to leave the macros on the left side. because that still kind of helps balance out the left and right, if I'm honest, in my opinion. I think it's not special, but it's not horrible. But is it cool? Like, if you guys saw this in the meetup, what would your first thought be, right? My thought would be like, oh, it's just a 65% Alice, or it's like, it's an Alice with arrows. Because for me, it's like either it's like an Alice/Alice clone, or you still just call it, right? What do you call this layout? I just call it Alice with arrows. Is what I call any layout that's basically an Alice with layout with arrows, regardless of where they put the macro/nav keys. That's actually irrelevant to me. To me, otherwise, it's just Alice with arrows. Arisu, Alice with arrows. Bear 65, Alice with arrows. I got it just because I'm like, okay, I like Alice's. I quite have a few Alice boards. I should have at least one Alice with arrow boards to take a look at and say I have. So I can be done with that product category. So how cool is the Bear 65? Is it actually cool, or is it tired? Is this a tired layout, a tired idea? Has Alice with arrows overstayed its welcome? I guess is the big question. Tired and expected. I think it's pretty tired. I have one too. I haven't even built mine. Mine's still in its box. I've just like unboxed it and looked at it. I'm like, oh, it's neat. I haven't put switches and stabs and then soldered. Does it sound good? I think so. It's no Type K. Yeah, it's no Type K, but Type K hasn't shipped. Fingers crossed I win that raffle, because that's a board I want to try. I want to try a nice combined nice tent board like that. But hopefully we get there when we get there in the near future. Bear 65. It sounded good from what you heard. I don't think it'll sound bad, to be honest. There's nothing about it that screams to me in how it's assembled that it's going to be bad in any way. It does have a gasket. It's a gasket mount. It's not done poorly. It's not done excellently. It's competent. It is a competent board, but Alice with Arrows sounds like a band name. Welcome! We're here in Insert City here. We are Alice with Arrows, playing our hit single for you today, the Macro Key. Still think it takes most boxes for the most broad audience, so meh. High meh. I'm okay with that being high meh. Is it the highest meh? No, it's like under the VEA, right? Like, if you said, Huey, would you rather have a VEA or Bear 65? I'd be like, VEA. Which one's cooler, Huey? VEA or Bear 65? VEA. I don't know if it bothers you. I don't know about that. In terms of like usability, I'd take the Bear 65. In terms of coolness, I take VEA. VEA is like, if I saw VEA at the meetup, I'm like, the good old days, back before keyboards were complicated and everyone flipped and artisan people weren't as crazy yet. As crazy. They still were. Yeah, I'm gonna blow up VEA. I don't know. You'd rather use a bear, but VA being in your collection would be cooler. Yep, I'm with it there. That's exactly where I'm at. Sake, you say VEA greater than bear. That's not a hot take. That's a very appropriate take. I think that's we're gonna go with that. We'll go with that. Okay, let's round out our last two boards. Let's just get the last OEM board out of the way. You like it, you love it, you hate it. The Mistel Bracco MD650L is the second to last board, the penultimate board of the night. Is it a cool board? There it is. Mini USB, 69 keys, baby. NKRL. Cherry ML switches. Cherry ML switches. Could you live with yourself with Cherry ML switches? Could you live with yourself with wet newspaper typing? The crowd goes mild is a command on my Discord server. Could you imagine Cherry ML switches in 2021? I'm sure like Cherry had like dust off their machines, and they're like, so what? So they probably opened like really old dusty boxes. Does the label say Cherry ML 1831? No, that's 1831. 1981. Ooh, it's been a while since we've opened this box. How did our salesperson convince Brocco to use this switch? Shh, don't tell him it's a bad switch. Oh my god. I mean, ML's bad. It's not like MY bad, but ML switches are pretty bad. Yikes. Okay. How yikes is the miss up, Brocco? You made a decision. Like, there had to have been a meeting where like an engineer's like, yeah, we'll use it. Yeah, ML switches. You know, I bet you Cherry's like, hey, designing a new board. We have these switches. They're absolutely great, and just for you, super cheap. And in reality, Cherry's just like, fucking shove this on someone. It's just taking space in the warehouse. You want to meet the guy that said, yeah, give me that ML. That shit is dank. New old stock. It's all new old stock. I cannot imagine it's an MLs or an actual production in 2021. But you know what? Who knows? ML is like chalk. It's like chalk, but bad. Like, chalk exists because of ML, but ML is bad. ML is just a bad chalk. A very bad chalk. Extraordinarily bad chalk. I'm kind of in the yikes category. I feel like everyone has bought this board, started typing on it, and I was like, might have made a mistake. I'm with you there. Like, holy moly. I'm gonna put it under the minivan. I think it's like, it's legitimately a bad switch. They're bad keycaps on a bad board. Because I mean, like, these are PBT die subbed. No, they're ABS, so they're lasered. They're lasered because this is keycap material. Here, I'll put the page up. Look, it says is keycap material ABS, right? But on the picture, there's no double shotting, so it's not double shot, which means these are trash keycaps as well on trash switches. So yeah, it's big yikes. Why is the minivan yikes? Well, there's a lot of reasons. One of the main ones is no one was there to defend it when everyone was debating where it should belong. It could have gone into meh, but the people who were present in chat had good reasons to put it in meh and yikes, and in yikes it went. In a few episodes, we will revisit certain items on the board to see if they should be relocated, but we haven't reached that point yet. Yeah, I'm going with what's more yikes? MD650L or Gherkin? At least a Gherkin has MX switches. Yeah, I'm happy with this. This is acceptable. Okay. This is a board I also like. I think it's a unique board. It's the Keyboardio Model 01. It's unique. That wood housing, like, come on. The fact that it's unfortunate that they decided to go with Matthias switches. Matthias switches has its own fair share of issues, but I think it's a clean board. It's definitely a chunker of a board. Nice little butterfly design for both sides, right? The reach of the keys aren't horrible. I've used one at meetups. Look at those custom molded keycaps, right? It has its own profile of keycaps. That's how much work and design went into the Keyboardio Model 01. In fact, it has a wood chassis. It's $329. It's sold out at the moment. It's permanently sold out, actually. There's gonna be an updated version of the Model 100 in the future. It might already be out, but I mean, for me, the Model 1 was like, Jesse I think did a great job. You can have flats, tripoded, tented. But in fact, you have a tripoded, completely raised up is really cool, and it can work with a lot of people who have standing desks. Programmable LEDs. See, the big issue is the switches it used, right? Well, the Matthias switches are complete shit, and even Jesse, he's talked to me, he's like, yeah, I highly regret using those switches on the board. They actually had he actually had to like confront Matthias on like, hey, I'm getting switches with like a 25% fail rate. You know how high of a fail rate 25% is for switches? That's nuts. You cannot produce keyboards with switches with a 25% fail rate. I think it might have not been 25. It might have been like 10%. That's so ridiculously high. And Matthias basically had to get their shit in order to fix so many switches for people, and that slowed the rollout for so much. I appreciate everything that went into making this board a reality. At the NorCal meetup in 2017, Jesse actually had a nice like 15-minute lecture on the path that went to make this board, to bring it to reality, and it was a really good talk. Yeah, even 10% is very high. It was, yeah. No, he's a really cool. They're working on unique projects. It's also open source, open hardware. He wants you to modify things. He wants you to work on things. Do they have a page for the Model 100 yet? No, they don't. That's sad. I want the Model 100. I want to see. I want to see what's next in Keyboardio's lineup on how they're going to follow up the Model 01. And I really hope the Model 100, the new one, also has an option for a wood case like this one. It's unique. I regret not getting one. If I got one, like today, if I could find one, I would probably replace every single switch with... What would I replace every switch with? Orange Alps. I would like screw the RGBs, Orange Alps, everything on this board. Mwah! Would be beautiful. I think this is a really cool board. I dare say it might even be a very low WoW board, in my personal opinion. Okay? Wood chassis. Custom keycaps. I think it's very high cool or very low WoW. There's a lot of respect I have for this board and all the work that went into this board. Overhyped? What? Are you... No one. Where is this board being hyped? I'd love to see where this board's being overhyped anywhere. This is a cool board. I mean, that's a dumb argument, Tanstrong. Only 40 people bought the Jane V2 CE, and it's WoW. You're saying it doesn't sell much. This is not just what? This is the cool board. This is the rule of cool, baby. Yeah, high cool or low WoW, I think. Maybe under the Ogre? Or high mid cool, like above the E8.5 is what I think. One of these, well, maybe one of those places. What's on... okay, no, I wouldn't put it in low WoW. 7V, Modern Model F, Juby. No, it's not up there. It's not up there. Right, Ryan? I'm learning so much today. Okay. Okay. Um. No, it's cool. It's a cool board. How cool is it? Is it? We're in the mid cool. Okay. Mutron versus Keyboardio Model 01. What a heads up. Both cool for different reasons. Both unique boards. Both special in their own way. I think this is a good heads up for the rule of cool. Do you prefer that sleek, clean, almost Apple-esque look of the Mutron? Do you like that wood style postmodern Keyboardio 01? The hype is the resale skyrocket after you rating. Everyone hated Apple now? I mean, there's always going to be like half the people who hate Apple and half the people who love Apple. There's actually not really that much hate between fanboys these days of like anything, whether it's Apple or Android or like PlayStation or Xbox. Mostly because that was totally like a early 2000s through like 2010-ish kind of thing. I'm so happy I got a Mutron. I don't know if you saw Brian. I actually got a Mutron a while ago. I used to keep it in its case. It's like it's one of those end game boards. I'm just so happy I have, even though I almost never use it. But the fact I have it is like, oh, is it Microtron? You can call it Microtron or Mutron. The letter's Mu. I mean, I even have the proper Greek Mu right there. Look, see, it's probably one of the coolest collectibles. It's a very cool collectible. Okay, Keyboardio Model 1. I'm gonna put it underneath the Mutron because the Keyboardio Model 1 has shit switches. Sorry, Jesse. This bass part reminds me of, like, a lo-fi version of Africa by Toto. I think that's it. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's see what we did today. Okay, let me just go to... Okay, so... without today's stuff. And we put some stuff on the board. Look at that fill. And last episode, look at I learned to use layers, everyone. Okay, so where do we put things on the board today? We got the Mutron, Keyboardio Model 01, Kinesis Advantage 2, Moonlander, Dactyl, SP111, VEA, Bear 65, Iris, Unigo, or it's technically Uni 660. Oh, Corn LP. And we have the new most yikesiest thing in the world, the Mistel Bracco MD650L. That someone in some boardroom had to have decided, let's use ML switches. It's like that person never typed on a keyboard before. Well, they never typed on an ML keyboard board, which I guess is reasonable, but still. Yikes. Where did the SP111 land again? It landed in very high meh. I think in the future there may be arguments that might push it to cool. I know a lot of people were not happy about that blue/teal. They'd have to proto it, and it's true. I wonder who the people who tested it were to say, like, yeah, let's stamp this. That's fine. probably someone who already put in their 2-week notice, and he's just like, whatever, don't give a shit. Stamp. That's my guess. Because someone who cares, come on. TKC doesn't color match. I mean, they also didn't QC, right? They didn't know the blue was teal until one person reported it, and then everyone reported it. And then they started looking at the boxes, and they're like, oh, all of them are teal instead of blue instead. What do you know? That's what I heard happens. I don't know if anyone can confirm if that actually happened. This is keep run. QC pass. Well, the sticker says blue. It must be blue. Why would the sticker lie to me? What, people just put the wrong label on? Why would someone do that? That's exactly what happened. Okay, thank you. But yeah, that's what I have for the cool board for today. Wow, we covered quite a bit, and we have quite a bit more to cover. I think it won't be next episode. It'll be the episode after next episode. We're going to be doing a review of certain items all across the board. I'm hoping I can get maybe 1 or 2 guests to actually join me live on stream for us to manipulate and argue about different placements with chat as well, which could be pretty fun. But next episode is going to be TKLs for the next episode, I think. No. What's the next one going to be? I forgot. But yeah. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, it's nice to be back doing stuff. Yeah, I took a 3-month, basically like 3-month break, 3 to 4 month break of just, I'm not gonna do shit. I don't want to do shit. I'm just gonna take some me time. And I did, and it was wonderful. It was clean. I liked it very much so. Yeah, having gas bonding would be fun. Not sure if she'd agree, but I can always put the ask in. I don't think many people would want to work with me ever since I took a break, because now it's like, I don't know, I assume most people have a mentality that why would you want to work with someone significantly smaller than them? Because I don't know. That's how I feel about a good amount of people. Maybe things are different. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I'm going to be asking a few people if they want to guests. It's not going to be next episode. It's going to be the episode after. Next episode is still going to be another episode on more boards. Next episode probably won't have a theme. I haven't decided that yet. It might just be random boards I pick out and like. So, yeah, that'll be next episode. But the episode after that, which I'll try to hype up in more places. So that's going to be the episode on July 8th. Ooh, actually, I might not have an episode next week. Is going to be a different day, because next Thursday is actually my mother's birthday. So there's not going to be a cool board at the same time next week. It's actually going to be in a different day, because I'm not going to skip my mother's birthday to do the cool board. That would send me to the yikes of the cool board if I did not attend my mother's birthday dinner to do the cool board. Sorry. So I'll have to give everyone an update sometime this weekend on when next week's episode will be. But the episode after that, the 8th, probably have guests. Or 2 guests. Maybe even 3. Maybe I'll even have a whole panel of people. So, I guess I'll do a little YouTube outro, then I'll hang out for a little bit. For everyone watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining. Hey, if you ever want to join the cool board, make sure you are following me on Twitch, link down below, so you can get pinged every time we go live, so you can argue with me and the rest of chat on what's what in the on what's what on the board. Yeah, thanks everyone so much on YouTube for watching. Hope to catch you in the next VOD, or to catch you live if you're able to make the stream. No matter what, don't forget, keep on keyboarding. Pew!